What's up, everybody? This is James Hunt back again. If you're at this part, we are now at chapter 3. So, what you should have done already is got a copy of your credit report. You know what your score is from creditkarma.com. You've applied and actually been accepted to obtain your secured card. And now it's time to get to business. But before we begin, I want to explain to you, and this is the part I talk about as far as us growing up not being able to get that information about credit, is what factors into your credit score. So you got to know what you're looking at before we can begin the process. So I want to give you a couple of things that you might know or you may have not known on how your credit score is determined. So I'm gonna break it down to you. So the most important thing on your credit, right, is ranked at 35%. So this is the 35% of the overall 100 score is payment history. So that means two things. Are you paying the bill on time? That's number one. You should never miss a payment. That's one of the most simple things you can do to continue to build your score up. They track this. You look more attractive. You look better. You look more reliable. It's just simple as that. Never miss a payment on your secured card. That's just the truth of the matter. So that's the number one thing. That's 35%. So for you people who don't have any credit right now, you got to work on that, and that means we're gonna have to make those payments on time, and it'll build up. It's a process. So we'll have to get there, but at least you know that 35% of your score is payment history alone. So you got to have on time payments, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Just and one thing I could tell you now is we live in an age now where you can set up payments. You don't have to mail anything in. You could connect your payment through your account on your phone, on your smartphone, through Capital One or whoever you're with for the secured card, and it takes it out whenever the payment is due, so you won't have to miss a payment. I mean, if you are somebody who you might not, I got a lot of people who might be strippers, dope boys, whoever it might be, and you might not have a checking account. What you could do is you'll have to send it in the old school way. So it's kind of like if you can send your cousin some mail who's in prison, whoever it is, you can go get a money order and send in your payment that way, the old school way. But if you want to do it through your phone, you can do that. Okay, the number two most important thing on how your score is ranked is 30%, and it's what you owe. So that means if I have my secured card is a $300 limit. If I spend $250, that means that I owe $250 on it. That means I owe a lot. They're looking at that like, oh, this person is becoming dependent or just using this card too much. And the more that you go up on the credit, your limit, as far as you get closer to the limit, you start to fall into the category where most people who use the card a lot and don't pay it off, you're more likely to be someone who doesn't pay it off at all, and things go wrong there. So amounts owed, that's one area that I focus on a lot. Is we always try to keep our total balance on the card under 30%. So what I mean by that is, say if your card is $300, your limit. So you got a credit limit of $300. So 30%, excuse me. So you never want to go over 30% of that limit. 30% is $90. So at any given moment, you should not have more than $90 spent on the card. So that's just the way it is. I know that's looked at as a lot. I mean, it's a little bit in regards to, not even half it, but you don't want to use half. You don't want to use that $150. You want to stay at or below $90. So you make small purchases monthly, but you definitely want to stay below that. And that's something that really will boost up your score quickly. And I'll give you more tips in the next chapter about what we're going to do to work it out. So, and the funny thing about it is, like I said, it's actually 30% of how your score is factored. So that'll be something we talk about in the next chapter. And then we got some smaller groups. 10% is new credit. So they look at, have you got any new credit cards lately? A lot of these people now, who I deal with, we're just starting out, so you won't have too much new credit. Down the line, you'll start to get credit card offers. It'll be up to you. Once you have this formula, once you figure out how the credit game works, it'll be up to you if you want new credit cards, and that'll just help build your score up. So we'll discuss that in the next chapter as well. At 15% is the credit, the length of your credit history. So that means how long have you had credit? How long have you been proving yourself? And that's all credit is. Again, is proving yourself. So 15% of your score is based upon how long you had credit. So don't worry about that. If you just did your first card or your first card that you're gonna have that's actually gonna be successful. Like me, I had the card that was messed up, so it really, that does count. So you might actually already have credit if you ever had a card, if you ever had certain credit cards and things of that nature. So don't don't feel too bad about that when that's something that you really can't control. It comes with time. And then also it's just 10%. The last 10% is credit mix. So that's just different things you may have: a car, a mortgage, credit card, student loans, whatever it might be. There's a couple of different things that mix into that. So all of these things add up to 100%. So like I said, the two top ones are 30 and 35%, and that's the payment history and the amount owed on the card. So in chapter 4, what we're gonna talk about is what to do. This is the best chapter in my opinion, because we people who like to we are people who like to act, not just talk about it, not just learn about stuff and never put it in motion. But we're going to actually show you right now in the next chapter how to get it going as far as raising that score up and what we're going to do. So stay tuned.